When responding to a service call, especially when the customer doesn't inquire about pricing upfront, proactively communicate your rates or provide an estimate before commencing work. This sets expectations and prevents potential disputes later on. In situations where the problem is intricate and potentially time-consuming, establish clear time boundaries for your investigation. Inform the customer beforehand about the time limit you'll allocate to the task. This empowers them to make informed decisions about whether to proceed with the service. As you encounter challenges during the inspection, keep the customer informed about the progress and explain the reasons for the difficulties. This showcases your expertise and helps them understand the complexities involved in diagnosing the electrical issue. Maintain a detailed record of the time invested in the service call, including the specific steps taken and challenges encountered. This documentation serves as evidence of your effort and can support your charges if needed. Even if you can't pinpoint the exact solution, discuss your findings with the customer. Explain why you're recommending they seek further assistance. This demonstrates that you're genuinely committed to resolving their issue and not simply giving up. When a customer expresses dissatisfaction, maintain a calm and professional demeanor. Actively listen to their concerns, explain your reasoning, and be open to compromise. Clear communication, establishing boundaries, and documenting your work are crucial for preventing misunderstandings and potential disputes. In electrical work, thorough documentation is essential. Firstly, create detailed invoices that itemize all charges, including labor, materials, and any other applicable fees. Secondly, maintain a record of all communication with the customer, including phone calls, emails, and in-person discussions. Thirdly, document any safety precautions taken during the service call, such as lockout-tagout procedures or the use of personal protective equipment. Fourthly, if you encounter any code violations or hazardous conditions, document them thoroughly and inform the customer of the necessary corrective actions. Fifthly, before starting any work, obtain written authorization from the customer outlining the scope of work, estimated costs, and payment terms. Sixthly, take photographs or videos of the work area before, during, and after the service call to document the existing conditions and the work performed. Seventhly, if you make any changes to the electrical system, such as installing new wiring or equipment, document the changes on a detailed electrical drawing or schematic. Eighthly, keep a log of all tools and equipment used during the service call to ensure that nothing is left behind or lost. Ninthly, if you encounter any unforeseen issues or complications during the service call, document them immediately and notify the customer. Tenthly, at the end of the service call, obtain written confirmation from the customer that the work has been completed to their satisfaction. When assessing the complexity of an electrical problem, consider these factors. Firstly, the age of the electrical system. Older systems may have deteriorated wiring, outdated components, and safety hazards that require extensive troubleshooting and repair. Secondly, the extent of the damage. Electrical problems caused by fire, water, or physical damage may require extensive repairs or replacements. Thirdly, the presence of DIY modifications. DIY electrical work often violates safety codes and can create hidden hazards that are difficult to detect and correct. Fourthly, the accessibility of the wiring. Electrical wiring that is buried behind walls, ceilings, or floors can be challenging to access and repair. Fifthly, the availability of documentation. The absence of accurate electrical drawings or schematics can make it difficult to trace circuits and identify problems. Sixthly, the type of electrical system. Three-phase systems, industrial controls, and specialized equipment can require advanced knowledge and skills to troubleshoot. Seventhly, the complexity of the circuit. Circuits with multiple branches, controls, and loads can be more challenging to diagnose than simple circuits. Eighthly, the presence of ground faults. Ground faults can be difficult to locate and can pose a serious safety hazard. Ninthly, the use of technology. Smart home devices, automated systems, and energy management systems can add complexity to electrical troubleshooting. Tenthly, the environmental conditions. Electrical systems in damp, corrosive, or hazardous environments may require special precautions and equipment. When setting time limits for electrical troubleshooting, consider these factors. Firstly, the complexity of the problem. More complex problems may require more time to diagnose and repair. Secondly, the accessibility of the wiring. Difficult to reach wiring may require more time to access and repair. Thirdly, the availability of information. The lack of accurate electrical drawings or schematics may require more time to trace circuits and identify problems. Fourthly, the age of the electrical system. Older systems may have deteriorated wiring and components that require more time to inspect and repair. Fifthly, the customer's budget. The customer's budget may limit the amount of time you can spend on the service call. Sixthly, the urgency of the situation. Emergency situations may require a faster response and shorter troubleshooting time. Seventhly, the skill level of the electrician. More experienced electricians may be able to troubleshoot problems more quickly. Eighthly, the availability of tools and equipment. The lack of specialized tools and equipment may increase the troubleshooting time. Ninthly, the environmental conditions. Unfavorable environmental conditions may slow down the troubleshooting process. Tenthly, the need for specialized testing. Specialized testing, such as infrared thermography or ground fault testing, may require additional time. To effectively communicate electrical complexities to customers, use clear and simple language, avoiding technical jargon. Secondly, use visual aids such as diagrams, photos, or videos to illustrate the problem and the proposed solution. Thirdly, explain the risks and benefits of different repair options, allowing the customer to make an informed decision. Fourthly, provide a detailed written estimate that outlines the scope of work, materials, and labor costs. Fifthly, be patient and answer all of the customer's questions thoroughly. Sixthly, empathize with the customer's concerns and acknowledge their frustration. Seventhly, explain the relevant electrical codes and safety regulations that apply to the situation. Eighthly, provide references or testimonials from other satisfied customers. Ninthly, follow up with the customer after the service call to ensure they are satisfied with the work. Tenthly, maintain a professional and courteous demeanor throughout the entire interaction. When handling customer complaints about electrical service bills, actively listen to the customer's concerns and acknowledge their frustration. Secondly, review the invoice carefully and explain each charge in detail. Thirdly, be willing to negotiate or compromise on the bill if necessary. Fourthly, offer to provide additional services or repairs to address the customer's concerns. Fifthly, remain calm and professional throughout the interaction, even if the customer is angry or upset. Sixthly, document all communication with the customer, including the date, time, and nature of the complaint. Seventhly, if you are unable to resolve the complaint, offer to mediate or arbitrate the dispute. Eighthly, be prepared to defend your charges with evidence such as time logs, material receipts, and photographs of the work performed. Ninthly, learn from the complaint and use it to improve your service in the future. Tenthly, always prioritize customer satisfaction and strive to resolve complaints in a fair and timely manner. When compromising on an electrical service bill, consider these strategies. Firstly, reduce the labor rate. Offer a discount on your hourly rate to compensate for the customer's dissatisfaction. Secondly, waive certain charges. Consider waiving charges for travel time, diagnostic fees, or minor materials. Thirdly, offer a payment plan. Allow the customer to pay the bill in installments over a period of time. Fourthly, provide a discount on future services. Offer a coupon or discount for future electrical work to retain the customer's business. Fifthly, negotiate the cost of materials. If the customer questions the cost of materials, be willing to negotiate a lower price. Sixthly, offer a referral bonus. If the customer refers new business to you, offer a bonus or discount on their next bill. Seventhly, provide a written apology. A sincere apology can go a long way in resolving a customer dispute. Eighthly, explain the value of your services. Remind the customer of the expertise and experience you brought to the job. Ninthly, document the compromise. Put the terms of the compromise in writing to avoid misunderstandings later on. Tenthly, focus on building a long-term relationship. Remember that retaining a customer is often more valuable than winning a single dispute. Regarding electrical code violations discovered during a service call, you should firstly immediately inform the customer of the violation and the potential hazards it poses. Secondly, clearly explain the code requirements and the reasons for compliance. Thirdly, provide a written estimate for the costs of correcting the violation. Fourthly, advise the customer to correct the violation as soon as possible to ensure safety and avoid potential fines or penalties. Fifthly, if the violation poses an immediate threat to safety, take steps to mitigate the hazard, such as disconnecting the circuit or equipment. Sixthly, document the violation in detail, including the location, nature of the violation, and the corrective actions recommended. Seventhly, if the customer refuses to correct the violation, you may be required to report it to the local building or electrical inspector. Eighthly, follow up with the customer to ensure that the violation has been corrected. Ninthly, keep a copy of all documentation related to the violation for your records. Tenthly, always prioritize safety and compliance with electrical codes. When estimating electrical repair costs, firstly, accurately assess the scope of the work. Identify all the tasks that need to be performed, including troubleshooting, repairs, replacements, and upgrades. Secondly, determine the materials required. List all the materials needed for the job, including wiring, conduits, boxes, fittings, and electrical devices. Thirdly, calculate the labor hours. Estimate the number of hours required to complete each task, taking into account the complexity of the work and the skill level of the electrician. Fourthly, factor in overhead costs. Include overhead costs such as insurance, vehicle expenses, office rent, and administrative expenses. Fifthly, add a profit margin. Add a profit margin to cover your business expenses and provide a reasonable return on investment. Sixthly, obtain competitive bids from suppliers. Shop around for the best prices on materials and equipment. Seventhly, provide a detailed written estimate. Clearly outline the scope of work, materials, labor costs, and total estimated cost. Eighthly, be transparent and honest with the customer. Explain how you arrived at the estimate and be willing to answer any questions. Ninthly, be prepared to adjust the estimate if necessary. If you encounter unexpected problems or complications during the job, be prepared to adjust the estimate accordingly. Tenthly, get the customer's approval before starting work. Obtain written authorization from the customer before beginning any work. When discussing the value of electrical services with a customer, emphasize the importance of safety. Explain how proper electrical work protects their home, family, and property from fire, electric shock, and other hazards. Secondly, highlight the expertise and experience you bring to the job. Explain how your knowledge and skills can save them time, money, and frustration. Thirdly, emphasize the quality of your workmanship. Explain how you use high-quality materials and follow industry best practices to ensure long-lasting and reliable electrical system. Fourthly, explain the importance of code compliance. Explain how your work ensures that their electrical system meets all applicable codes and regulations. Fifthly, provide examples of how you have helped other customers. Share success stories and testimonials to demonstrate the value of your services. Sixthly, be transparent about your pricing. Explain how your rates are competitive and fair, and provide a detailed breakdown of all costs. Seventhly, listen to the customer's concerns and address them honestly and respectfully. Show that you understand their needs and are committed to providing the best possible service. Eighthly, offer guarantees and warranties. Provide guarantees and warranties on your workmanship and materials to give the customer peace of mind. Ninthly, focus on building a long-term relationship. Show that you are interested in their business and are committed to providing ongoing support. Tenthly, be professional and courteous at all times. Treat the customer with respect and professionalism, and always go the extra mile to exceed their expectations. When creating detailed invoices for electrical services, firstly, include your company name, address, phone number, and logo. Secondly, include the customer's name, address, and contact information. Thirdly, include a unique invoice number and date. Fourthly, clearly describe the services provided, including the date of service, the location of the work, and a detailed explanation of the tasks performed. Fifthly, list all materials used, including the quantity, unit price, and total price for each item. Sixthly, specify the hourly rate for labor and the total number of hours worked. Seventhly, calculate the subtotal for materials and labor. Eighthly, add any applicable taxes, such as sales tax. Ninthly, calculate the total amount due. Tenthly, include payment terms, such as the due date and accepted methods of payment. 11thly, provide a space for the customer to sign and date the invoice. 12thly, keep a copy of the invoice for your records. 13thly, use clear and concise language. 14thly, organize the information in a logical and easy-to-read format. 15thly, double-check the invoice for accuracy before sending it to the customer. 16thly, consider using accounting software to generate invoices automatically. 17thly, customize the invoice template to match your company's branding. 18thly, include a thank you message to show your appreciation for the customer's business. 19thly, consider offering discounts for early payment or other incentives. 20thly, follow up with the customer to ensure they receive the invoice and to answer any questions they may have. When keeping records of communication with customers, firstly, create a dedicated file or folder for each customer. Secondly, date and timestamp all communication records. Thirdly, document the method of communication, such as phone call, email, or in-person meeting. Fourthly, summarize the key points discussed during each communication. Fifthly, include any agreements or promises made to the customer. Sixthly, record any complaints or concerns expressed by the customer. Seventhly, document any actions taken to resolve customer issues. Eighthly, keep copies of all emails, letters, and other written correspondence. Ninthly, store communication records securely and confidentially. 10thly, use a consistent format for all communication records. 11thly, train employees on proper communication documentation procedures. 12thly, review communication records regularly to identify trends and areas for improvement. 13thly, use communication records to track customer satisfaction. 14thly, integrate communication records with other customer data such as billing and service history. 15thly, use communication records to personalize customer interactions. 16thly, comply with all applicable privacy laws and regulations. 17thly, retain communication records for the required retention period. 18thly, use communication records to resolve disputes and legal claims. 19thly, use communication records to improve customer service. 20thly, use communication records to build stronger customer relationships. Remember that proper documentation protects you from liability and ensures clear communication. By explaining complexities, setting boundaries, and addressing concerns professionally, you can navigate challenging customer interactions effectively.